North London derby, I think for the first time in a while, it was anticipated for maybe the right reasons. So, you know, Spurs have started the season in good form. Yeah, I can't deny it. You know, if you're a lover of ball, but rather you're not, you have to say they play some nice football. The Harry Kane hangover, as we talked about, it doesn't seem to exist. Obviously, we've carried on in similar vein to last season from a points by points basis. We're in a slightly in a similar place. Maybe not as cohesive as we saw last year, but we're still expected to win most games, and we've still not lost this season. So the anticipation was there. You know, is Tottenham's good start? Is it a bit of a fluke? Now they've come up against a real team, etc. And it kind of came out pretty even. I don't know. What do you think, Daz?
Yeah, watching the game, of course, I was there, as I'm always there for North London derby. And to be fair, I think it confirmed all my thoughts beforehand.
Yeah.
Tottenham came, played their game, full props to them.
Yeah.
Arsenal, same sort of level that they've been playing this season. Not looking cohesive, as you said, and a lot of work to do.
I mean, there's almost this is about standards, isn't it? Right? So we're judging the team on the standard they set last season, rightly so. I think you're only as good as your last game, you're as good as your last season. And I guess you could say it's a positive from a Spurs point of view, because these are games that in recent years they've lost, right? Or they've not been able to win. But the manner of the draw, I don't know if I feel like when it's a mistake, an individual mistake, or you know, in the end, if that mistake doesn't happen, actually we're probably talking about Arsenal not playing well but getting a home victory, right? And I think from my point of view overall, our bottom level now is still expecting to win games, even if all the moving parts aren't as slick as last year, which I think is a great place to be. I think it's a fantastic problem to have.
That is a positive.
And stuff. But Keith, as a neutral, what did you think of the game?
Supposed neutral.
No, he's a real neutral. Isaac's the one that's not neutral.
I'm a neutral. So as you kind of alluded to, I think this is the first time I think you could look at a North London derby and be like, right, it's fairly even. Like over recent years, I think Arsenal have always, especially the Emirates, Arsenal have always had the advantage. I thought it was a good game. I think the first 20 minutes, Arsenal had the better of the game. I think Tottenham took a while to settle in. I think the changes at half time disrupted your flow.
Yeah,
totally. I'm not sure whether Vieira was injured. I didn't get that subject. Considering you knew you had to take off Rice, I
take him off as well.
Yeah,
I think he was injured. I think he did go down in the first half, and he wasn't moving right after that.
Yeah, so if he was injured, fair enough. This sounds weird, but taking those two off and then bringing on your marquee signing, so to speak, of the summer, it seems like your quality dropped.
Yeah, because 100%. he's not operating yet at marquee signing level.
Yeah,
100%.
And Jorginho's a bit of a weird one. Like back in the last season, he wasn't amazing, but he was just doing
his job properly,
doing the normal things. He was giving you your 6.5, your 7 out of 10 that you need to tick over. And it was clear that he hadn't played much this season.
Yeah.
Like he came on and he was just slow off the mark.
That's a really hard game to come in. If you haven't played this season, that's a really hard and to come, not even to start, to come on at half time as well, when everybody's in the game, everyone knows the pace of the game. As you were gonna say, he's not really the most athletic in the first place.
You're not the most mobile player, even in your good days. And I'm a fan of Jorginho. I'm a fan of what his role is, and he seems to be someone that's accepted that. But you're right, and to link both your points, I've heard some chat after about saying, well, because of it's us and the way we've played, etc., Arsenal, no one wants to talk about the injuries, because other teams would be saying, well, hold on, my first and second choice on the wing, both injured, so I've had to put someone else out there. There are, the number 2 to Rice is injured, so then you're going from Rice. What's the number 2? The other option for that role from Rice is injured, so you go from Rice down to Jorginho. But again, I'm thinking, you've had enough time. You've spent a certain amount of money. yes, it's not ideal for your 1 and 2 in a very important position. Martinelli and Trossard, whichever one of them is playing on that side of the pitch, are very important to how things flow and go forward. But I just think that it's unfortunate that we start with those injuries and then you pick up more. Rice then goes, then Vieira goes. So I actually look at that draw in a sense that when the team's had that much disruption, we lose that game in time gone by. You know, with that much disruption and changing that kind of personnel, not starting with them and then swapping them out at half time. Yeah. Not 60 minutes, not 70 minutes, half time. We lose that game. But then again, we're going to be talking about Jesus' chance that if we have a certain level of striker, he gets you out of jail.
Yeah.
If we have someone with a certain level of clinical finishing, he gets you out of jail. We're having probably a very different conversation today, despite all of that. And I don't want to put all of it on him, but that's the game, right? With those moments, it just changes the convo.
So just talking about how Jesus plays and what everyone's talking about, what Kai Havertz does off the ball.
Yeah.
Do you think Arteta's tried to build a team that's busy and will create chances and just someone, not specifically a striker, will put the ball in the net?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what he's tried to adopt.
You go first. I've got a view on that, but you go first.
I think he wants sort of like a committee of goal scorers. Yes. So it's spread around the team, as it was last season.
Yeah.
Double figures Odegaard, double figures Saka, double figures Martinelli. Jesus obviously had a big injury, but he probably would have got double figures. So I think that's what he wants, that it's going to be all different goal scorers. Kind of like how Man City used to be before Haaland came along.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
And that's
what
I was going to say. If I take a deductive view of it, you say, well, where did he cut his teeth? Where did he learn his trade? He helped build a team where no matter who played, the thing was about we were playing in a way that people will get in certain positions and people get certain chances. And then there's enough average quality that whoever the chances fall to will score.
They'll be able to put it in the back.
Yes, whether it falls to Mahrez, whether it falls to Sterling, whether it falls to Foden. You know, remember that season they played without a striker, basically. You know, whether it falls to Bernardo Silva, it was more about we will have a pattern of play that more often than not gets us in the positions that we want to, gives us optimal chances. And then whoever's there, KDB, whoever you are, you can finish. And it seems like that is where he's trying to go. So within our budget, within our constraints, whenever they talk about Arteta's signings, it's about versatility and people who can do more than one role and etc. And kind of with our budget ceiling, I can get the best players in that play at the highest quality that can then do all of that. Trossard is a perfect example of that. You know, when he plays, he doesn't do what Martinelli doesn't stay out there. He drifts in, he picks up. Look at where he scored the goal from against Everton. You know, he's on the right side of the box. So I think that's where he's going. I think Havertz hasn't progressed that plan. For honest, right? He's not progressed that plan, and he could be Arteta's Pepe.
Yeah,
Havertz could be Arteta's Pepe, right? And that's mad because as it stands now, Pepe was more productive than him.
He can undo a lot of Arteta's good work. Just that one signing, because going forward,
well, he can if Arteta keeps playing him,
and I think he's good. Well, he took him out, but he brings him straight back in. So I think going forward, I'm worried. I said it on the pod was it last week or the week before. Arsenal will not be in a title race this season. They're not playing well enough. And I was trying to tell the other two guys who are conveniently not here today that not playing well and picking up points is not sustainable. You can get away with it for a few games here and there, but it's going to catch up with you.
Is that one of those old football cliches that you know when they say, the mark of champions is when they don't play well, but they still pick up points?
Yeah, they say that, but
that was before Man City was.
You can't do. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's the benchmark. That's the benchmark. Man City is the benchmark. And after the season we had last season, we spent 200 million. We're coming into the season to try and win the league. That's the only reason why you spend 200 million. You need to 200 million come second again.
Yeah.
And Man City is the benchmark. And we are not playing well enough. It's 6 games. I've seen 6 games of the same level of performance. Just getting over the line a few times. Very lucky a couple of times. And dropped points a couple of times. So in that vein, I can't think of 6 games last season where I didn't see at least 2 or 3 top performances within that 6-game bracket.
6-game run.
Even at the end of the season when we was terrible, we still had that one game, I think it was Newcastle away, was a great performance, even though we wasn't even that good in that 6-game bracket. But these 6 games have all been on the same par level of performance. And even yesterday, Tottenham, I thought Tottenham was a better team. Well, I think the draw was the fair result, but if you had to pick a winner, for me, Tottenham were the better team.
Well, it's interesting you say that because the stats back you up.
Oh, wow. Oh, surprise.
well, the stats back up this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, again, we were at home. We're at Emirates, right? And I'm not a big fan of possession stats being used that way. But listen, on most stats, they had more of the possession.
Yeah.
In first half, I think I read a stat earlier there, they had 60% possession for first half. But overall, average out 53%, we have 46%. So not massive, but they kept up with us possession-wise, which doesn't happen.
But I've never seen that. I've never seen that at Emirates. I've never seen that at Emirates. I've never seen a Tottenham team come to Emirates and have more possession.
More touches of the ball, same amount of shots, more passes, more tackles, more clearances, which probably talks to your point of pressure. So you kind of look at some of these underlying numbers. I hate that term. And you kind of say, well, look, Tottenham came and they were doing toe-to-toe. Now, again, I think the gap in maturity would have been, as you say, and that you argue, actually, it shows there isn't a gap in maturity because Jorginho makes that kind of mistake. But overall, I think Arteta's 3 years in, Masogolu's 4 months in. So if we got away with a win despite playing like that, you could probably chalk that down to, a bit more time in the kitchen cooking. But I agree with you. I think they came, they played well, they set their stall out. And there's a school of thought, again, I was hearing people talk about earlier, saying it's probably good that a lot of Tottenham players hadn't played in North London Derby before. They could be like, I'm looking forward to this, rather than being scared or being scarred from
I was going to say,
previous times.
I was in the camp of Kane leaves and Tottenham kind of fall off. And when I said that, I had the vision of the core Tottenham team that were there last season, still playing, just kind of swap Kane out, etc. But if you actually look at their team compared to last season, there's not many players playing now.
Højlund, all them man played. Sanchez gone, Højlund's gone.
All them guys.
They've got a new
Dyer
goalkeeper.
at the back and all that, all them gone.
New goalkeeper. I think only Romero from the back 4 was a regular.
Yeah.
Sarr and Basuma and Maddison.
Whole new midfield.
Yeah, pretty much whole new midfield.
Yeah, Basuma wasn't getting a look in or wasn't able to play the way
Johnson started his first game yesterday, North London Derby.
Kulusevski
and Kulusevski. Yeah,
fine, that's it. But you're right.
That's it. And I think
Richie's on the bench.
What's that? Is that 3 players? Is that 3 players of the 11?
So I think that's kind of helped with Ange and the way he wants to play. Because essentially it's like, well, a manager comes in, he's like, well, it's not my team.
Yeah.
He's kind of made it his team with the players that he brought in. And some of those players were there under the old regime.
It's a little bit of an indictment.
Just weren't getting a look in. But yeah, like I say, Tottenham played really well. I think we've had a lot of debate between Maddison and Odegaard.
No, we'll come on to that.
I know what you're saying, but I think Maddison is kind of showing his worth in that Tottenham team more and more each week.
Yeah.
You can see he's got a little bond with Son, like they've done a little joint celebration together, which is what you want. You're kind of 2 stalwarts kind of bonding together really, really quickly. Sarr and Basuma, they just, I wouldn't say they got outplayed in the first half, but like I say, the first 20 minutes, I think Arsenal got in their foot a little bit more, but they settled. And even the left back who was up against Saka.
Yeah.
Udogie.
Started
Destiny.
Started shaky, got booked early on.
And then he
done well after that.
After that, done really well. So, Ange and Tottenham.
The biggest surprise for me was their football was more dominant than our football.
Yeah.
They would have the ball for quite a long time, try and probe, whatever, but then we would win it back. And then we would just go try storming forward. We didn't play off it. We just go storming forward.
We're at home. We need to do this. It's Tottenham.
It's more like we were playing the occasion and they were playing the match.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And that's why I'm worried about this team. I'm really worried going forward because I think now we have to readjust what we want to achieve this season. I don't see us coming for a title. I see us now looking for a top 4.
Yeah.
Because the team is not. I think I should put it out there. I think we're worse than we've gone backwards from last season.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I think I think the starting point is different, right? So when we look at the season we had before last year, it was let's get in top 4. Like we shouldn't have come 5th again. He spent more money. Let's get top 4. Now after last season, it's almost like you need to start there as a minimum and push on. And also some of the stuff we saw last season in terms of just from an eye test, but just looking at the game. If you're an honest Arsenal fan, you weren't expecting that yet. Like you thought that may come later, etc. Yeah. But how often we did it and who we did it against, you weren't expecting that yet. So now, because a lot of the underlying stats say we're doing better than last season, right? At the same stage, but on the eye, it doesn't look it. And I think new players have maybe done that. So, Partey, as much as he can be annoying, when he's on it, and he looks and plays a certain way. Rice, optically is going to look different. We've had the Havertz conundrum. So I'm not ready to call that yet. What I did think before the season started, that it would be one of those seasons where we would be in the title race, but in reality, we are cementing second unless City slip up. I didn't see it being a thing again where we lead for so long. I genuinely thought it was going to be one of those, what was the year Man United finished second, but the gap was huge.
They won it by about 15 points.
I think it's going to be one of those, or someone else is going to push Man City.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to come second. I think Liverpool look like they will come above Arsenal this season.
I think we still got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, I think as things stand, 10, 15 games and I'll make a definitive judgment, but I think it's too early. We still haven't lost.
The thing is, everyone's saying it's too early, but it's Man City. It's not too. You can lose the league by October against Man City.
No, I'm not saying it's too early for me to say we're not going to win. I think I said a couple of podcasts ago. So we just give it to them now, kind of vibe.
Yeah,
but in terms of how far we push them, or is it going to be a Man United second that year? I actually think what it is now is, can you come second again, and can you cement that when other teams have got better? Yeah. When the people who dropped away last season, they're not dropping away. When Liverpool turn up again, when Newcastle can do it again, I was going to say Chelsea, but
I get what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that's realistic. What it is actually, if we get second again this season, which is not something you aim for, don't get me wrong, but getting second again this season with everyone else kind of sorting out their house, that for me is okay.
So you're taking Man City out of the equation and sort of thing. But that's the thing, I'm looking at Man City, and I suppose that's where we differ a little bit, because even if we come second, but we're 15, 20 points behind Man City, for me, that's not good. That's that's worse than last season. You can still come second, but if you're way behind City, then what's the point?
I agree. But I've already seen enough of City to say,
but
it's tricky.
I know City are 6 out of 6, but again,
it's the way though.
They're not playing particularly great. And just to put it into context, they could go to the Emirates in 2 weeks' time, get a point. Liverpool, let's say Liverpool or Tottenham win next week. You get a point. You draw with City. Then Liverpool or Tottenham win.
Yeah,
they're level, Tottenham or Liverpool are level with Man City after 8 games.
Yeah.
So I know we're saying it can shift pretty quickly this early.
No, with it. That's why I'm like 10 for me. I know what you're saying. When you watch the team, and that's why for me, I'm saying it that way for Man City, because they're not even playing great yet. So imagine when they start, KDB's not even about. KDB's not even about. But that's why for me, 10, 12-ish games, you start to see some normality. And last season was an anomaly. As much as I love my team, etc., the way we challenged them was an anomaly. To be top for so long, it's not even we wait for them to slip up. We were the ones that everyone was waiting for us to slip up. So, and 10, 12 games and I'll be like, okay, let me see.
One thing I'll say about City, they're not firing all cylinders, but they haven't looked like dropping points in any of the games that I've seen.
Sheffield United, they were close to.
I watched that game now, man. I always knew.
But
they were peppering them.
I know, but it's a thing of if you're playing against better quality opposition, those opposition might potentially take those chances that you're giving up. And to be fair, we always say Man City will win 10 in a row. If they win the first 10 and then drop off, I'll take that. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.